nothing left to lose now. Everything to prove now. Long as I'm alive, I'ma fight back. My fire never cools down. I'm about to catch fire. Yeah, I'm about to catch fire. Get ready for the new me. Get ready for the new me. Try to hold me down and I go higher. Try to put me out and I go wilder. I'm a fighter, a survivor. Stand back while I catch fire.
And welcome to the WSL Post Show. It has been an amazing day of surfing here at the U.S. Open of Surfing, and we are here to break it all down for you, to talk about those big moments that got us through the weekend, the Saturday here with a packed beach down in Huntington Beach. I am Shannon Hughes, joined in the booth by Rosie Hodge and Pete Mel. What are your thoughts on the days, Rosie?
I mean, it is, honestly, it's been such an action-packed day, but also a lot of emotion today. I think we saw a lot of buzzer-beater moments, a couple close calls, and I think a lot of the surfers are kind of regathering themselves after a big day.
And I loved the quarterfinals for the women, just how the matchups ended up at the end there. You've got some veterans and some championship tour experience up against some very youthful exuberance. That's going to be exciting semifinals tomorrow.
Well, talking about that experience, we saw Kanoa Igarashi just take out a big win. He's a favorite in this event at the U.S. Open of Surfing. He's already won 2 times in the past, 2017 and 2018, and he just took out a solid one in that last heat. Rosie, what are your thoughts on, him walking away again?
Oh, he's so capable of it, and how comfortable do you feel at home when you get, to sleep in your own bed, to eat the food in your fridge, and come down to the beach and know that you've tasted victory at this place so often.
I love Kanoa Igarashi's performance in this one. He's quietly making it through heats. He hasn't been the big hype that going around him because he's been a past champion. It's expected of him. But that expectation comes with meeting up against a youngster like Cade Matson, who has been putting up some big numbers. So this wasn't an easy feat for Kanoa, and he came in here very, very excited to put up a performance, and it did show in this one because this wave here specifically was a little point of difference for me just because he had so much release out of his move. There was so much risk involved in those moves, and that was the real difference in this heat. Gets a 7.5 and another close one.
Also, Cade Matson, I mean, he's had success here too at a junior level, but you really see the separation from someone looking to have success on the Challenger Series versus a championship tour veteran.
Awesome, yeah, thank you.
And amazing to see Kanoa again with a solid heat win over Cade. Like you mentioned, that sort of veteran coming in against one of those younger surfers in a Cade Matson and getting all those autographs down on the shoreline. I mean, he is a total favorite out here. And like you said, Rosie, feeling comfortable, sleeping in his own bed at home, and getting to perform for this crowd again, but having to turn it up. I mean, he took off on like 12 waves in that heat.
Yeah, it hasn't been easy. I mean, all of the heats have been so stacked today. Factor in that the conditions are super tricky at the moment. You had that wind start to pick up. Yeah, everyone's had to dig a little deeper as the contest has worn on. It takes a lot of energy to get to the finals weekend.
Yeah, and looking into that finals weekend, Pete, those surfers that are going to have to dig deeper, where do you think that's going to come from?
Well, I mean, I'll go back to the semifinals of the women and the fact that you have this Coco Ho up against a 15-year-old in the first one, and then you got Courtney up against a 16-year-old in the second one. They're expected to take that win, but in this event, the U.S. Open, it feels like there's surprises that happen. So it's just going to be fun to watch that semifinal matchup. On the men's side, you've got San Clemente represented in a big way with Kanoa Igarashi right here in HB. So I expect the crowds to show up. Usually that happens when you have local surfers involved, and I feel like that's going to be a big factor tomorrow, is those crowds and who can tap into that energy.
Well, we're going to be expecting Kanoa Igarashi to tap into that energy here at home, and we just saw him take away a big win. We're going to go down and catch up with him on the sand.
Thank you, Shannon. Kanoa, last heat of the day. I want to talk about the quantity of waves you took. 10 difficult conditions out there. Why were you so active?
Oh, because I love surfing Huntington. I just couldn't control myself. I love when Huntington's like this. It's just fun. And yeah, I don't know. I just got excited. I think a little kid in me came out.
Look, after finishing the rankings number 8 on the championship tour this year, You actually told me off air a few days ago that your plan is to do all of the Challenger Series events. Why that kind of motivation when you don't need to?
Because I love surfing. I think I said in the last interview, but I mean, I just love, I love surfing. I love competing. I love surfing, obviously, here in Huntington, and then in Europe, it's a second home for me. So, yeah, I don't know. It's just, I mean, you know, get to surf all these waves with no one out. And, you know, not that there'd be anyone out right now, but I definitely don't mind spending more time out there. So, yeah, just for the love of surfing and love of competing.
Tomorrow you have an opportunity to become a 3-time U.S. Open champion. I believe that's a record. What would it mean to you to not only win at home again, but to achieve that record here?
Yeah, well, that'd be amazing. I mean, like I said, I feel, you know, I'm just having a lot of fun. I have a really good headspace right now, and, you know, to be here with my friends and family and to be able to surf in front of them. And, yeah, I just, yeah, I love winning, you know, and hopefully I can do it again here. And, you know, be able to celebrate it with my friends and be able to, you know, take a nice, well, I guess I'm on vacation now, but, you know, be able to celebrate vacation a little bit.
Arigatou gozaimasu.
Arigatou gozaimasu.
Shannon?
Thanks so much, Mitch. Great to hear from Kanoa. And another big heat that we saw go down today was in the round of 16 was heat number 3. We saw Kolohe Andino take the advancing position over Zeke Lau, and that was a very intense heat, Rosie.
Yeah, super competitive, both of these guys. And it was an extremely close heat, Pete. But you see Kolohe Andino coming out of injury. He's got a lot of speed and whip in his surfing at the moment.
And a lot of things that a big change for me and what no one else has really been doing except for maybe Kanoa Igarashi in that last heat, just moved to the south end of the beach. And Kolohe did this at the very beginning of the heat. He did that in his heat win yesterday, and he did it again today where he just moved to the southern end. It wasn't like you look at it and go, oh, there's some waves over there, let's just go and, you know, set myself apart. But he did it on purpose, and he gets 2 scores, and then he goes back and applies the pressure to Zeke Lau, where Zeke was sitting on the pier bowl the whole time and nothing came to him. It's just a magic that he has with this lineup.
Well, also in his post-heat interview, he actually said the reason he did that is he knows that Zeke likes to control that first part of the heat, so he just wanted to stay out of that kind of tussle. And it worked so well for him.
And that's the greatness of a competitor like Kolohe, is that he understands his competitor and how to affect that win for himself. And, you know, hey, you can go control over there. Yeah. I'm going to go over here and get some scores. That's what happened.
It certainly worked out in his favor with those 7s. Into the quarterfinals, taking a look at that bracket, there's some expected names and some unexpected names, Pete Mel.
Yeah, well, I think you look at Jake Marshall and what he's been able to do on the qualifying series and now the Challenger Series. Caleb Robson, you know, I think that Caleb is a new name to American surfing. Matter of fact, this is his first time competing in the domestic USA, and he's in the quarterfinals of the U.S. Open. Great result for him, whether he loses out here or keeps moving on. The Kolohe Nolan, that's my favorite one of this one. Nolan's been looking up to Kolohe his whole career. Nolan has nothing to lose here, so Kolohe has to be very precise in his approach against Nolan. Doesn't have any experience against Nolan, so I don't think he's going to be able to read him and go, okay, what's he going to do? I'm going to go down here. I don't know what he's going to do. Maybe he controls the lineup. Maybe he does a whole different strategy. Who knows?
Yeah, I really like the Liam O'Brien Griffin Colapinto. In my opinion, Liam was one of the standouts for me today, just on a single maneuver that he was able to do. And I think Griffin's been outstanding too. So yeah, there's a lot of favorites to pick and watch out for.
Yeah, I mean, so many of those favorites on the men's side, but some favorites on the women's side still in the mix. We saw Courtney Conlog take out a win over Betty Lou Sakura Johnson. And I mean, Betty Lou started out with a very solid, structured heat, but Courtney was able to walk away with the win once again.
It's been interesting, you know, watching, I mean, as we see Betty Lou, I mean, she's so primed for these QS events. I feel like even though she's only had a few opportunities at a Challenger QS level, she just looks so experienced at the moment. Where Courtney's run through this event has been a little bit slow, and now she's starting to kind of gain that momentum and run through the rounds.
Yeah, we've seen Courtney take a couple wins out here. Pete, what's it going to take for her to do it again?
More of the same. Just knowing the lineup, trusting her abilities in the lineup, about what she does, going out there, getting that first initial big turn done. That's one thing that Courtney has done at each and every time she's competed here at Huntington Beach. She understands how to score big numbers, and she's just got to go and trust that and apply that to her competitor.
Yeah, and you mentioned it before, you know, Courtney's wave knowledge here, where to sit, it's unlike anyone else.
Yeah, it's such a huge advantage for Courtney. And just to note, you know, Courtney's still, you know, coming off that traumatic brain injury that she suffered in Portugal last year. I mean, she's had to go through so much adversity, so many injuries that she's working through. So it's just good to see her in form. I mean, it looks like she's even wearing an ankle brace.
Yeah, she is. She's been strapped up here, and I think that's just a preventative thing, but it definitely in your mind, if you've got your ankle, which is a very important part of surfing, is having those ankles strong.
Well, we saw two of the veterans advancing here on the women's side against two of the Groms, in Gabriella Bryan and Katie Simmers.
I can't wait for that matchup, right?
Yeah,
I mean, the semifinals are going to be so fun.
Sorry, Pete. I think we're both just chomping at the bit. I love the new blood in the women's tour. I think it's so cool. I mean, this new generation that are coming up, it's exciting to see, and it's starting to bubble over.
So excited to see a Coco and a Courtney in the mix as well, though. We'll see if the young ones can take the lead away. Well, we'll be back with more to break down here at the post show right after this. More of the U.S. Open of Surfing post-show here in Huntington Beach. And we saw some excellent surfing go down throughout the day. But maybe the most important moment, at least the Super 73 ride of the day, was from Callum Robson, the Australian, first time here in Huntington Beach. Rosie, he walked away with that 8.0. Let's check it out.
Callum Robson answers back with an air of his own. Free-falling from the sky, landing tail first. There's no slowing down this surfer from Australia as he finishes with a hammer on the inside.
Smashing that. Woo. Wow.
In fuego.
Solid surfing from Callum Robson gets him that Super 73 wave of the day, but solid surfing also got Nolan Raposa into our top 5. He is the first one that we're going to be taking a look out for a solid heat advancement. Pete Mel, I know you're really excited about this one.
I'm actually really excited. He's a good friend of mine, but on top of that, I like his post-heat interviews. He's been nailing it out of the park in his post-heat interviews. He's been thanking the right people, but this kid is on point. This is his biggest result of his career. I mean, yes, he did have a win down in Arica in Chile, a QS 3000. That was a big moment in his life, but here at his hometown with his family here, all of his buddies, I mean, he's got a posse be as deep as Kanoa Igarashi does. And he's from Long Beach, so it's just 10 minutes up the road. But the kid's been fun to watch. I think he's become, I actually almost shed a tear in that last fight when he's talking about his trainer and how his trainer got him through his injuries. I mean, it's been a fight for this kid. I've watched him since a very youngster. One of the things he always did was he went big. And he went big all the time to his own detriment. He ended up falling a lot, lose heats a lot because of it. But look where it's got him now, doing that kind of stuff with his eyes closed. And that's where I see him going. He's not going to change his style and approach. All he has to do is complete the stuff. And he looks like he's doing that right now. And I love it. He has a great chance to take a win here.
So comfortable. And you talk about those big things that he's doing at his detriment. Hip surgery, knee surgery. Those are all the things he's had to come back from to have this kind of success at the US Open. He says he has that self-belief after sitting on the couch, watching it all unfold. So it's really cool to see someone like Nolan. It's easy to be a fan of the guy.
Incredible surfing, and more incredible surfing from the rising star in Gabriella Bryan. She took out Caroline Marks, world number 6 on the championship tour. She is a threat for the US Open.
Well, what a way to start the day. A huge wake-up call. Gabriella Bryan, I mean, taking out the top seed in this event. Caroline Marks is the highest ranked surfer in this event. And Gabriella was just so composed throughout this heat. I mean, it's one thing to kind of think about how you want to surf a heat, and it's another thing to execute that kind of goal and that ambition. And Gabriella did that so well. She's into the semi-finals in the first ever Challenger Series event. So that's a huge feather in her cap in her career.
So proud of Gabriella Bryan. And then in the other heat of the day, we saw Coco Ho take out the youngster in Sawyer Lindblad, who was looking on fire, but textbook surfing Pete Mel from Coco.
Yeah, and it came down to, again, one of those on-the-beach calls, and Coco very narrowly beats that youngster, but it's due to this boatloads of experience. She didn't let it phase her. She didn't, this was kind of a low scoring heat throughout of it, so she never gave up. She made sure that she got her scores at the very end, and she ends up getting it on that last exchange, and so neat to see. And those are one of those heats where you come out of it and go, whew,
exactly,
everything's kind of working my way, and now maybe she could get herself a US Open championship.
Callum Robson, number 2 for the day, heating it up with a 15-point heat total. He dropped an 8 and backed it up with a 7. Incredible surfing.
Where did this guy come from? I mean, the first time competing in domestic America, like you said, he's been to Hawaii and competed, but his first time to the US Open, and he's already into the quarterfinals. He had a huge hole in his board. I think that was due to his knee making contact with that deck of his board. So yeah, amazing performance. I think he got like an 8 and a 7, and this is actually his first heat win in this event. He's been coasting through, flying under the radar, getting seconds, and now he's into the quarterfinals.
Well, he needed that heat win in this opportune time, because if he got second in this one, you're out of the event. Not going to be the case. He takes that win, finds himself in the quarterfinals.
Well, an amazing heat from Callum, but even better at that with a 15.16. Griffin Colapinto drops in as our number 1 highlight from today.
What I think I like about Griffin's approach to surfing Huntington Beach, and it's much more, it's like he's lost that Grom enthusiasm, and now he's kind of become this championship tour surfer, and with that has become this smooth approach. He still has the electricity with the board, but he doesn't look like he's working that hard for it, and he's always got this nice away approach. It's good, easy paced. We always start comparing him to a Parco or to a Fanning, and the linkage between his maneuvers is so beautiful to watch. The whole package is just there from start to finish. Doesn't look like he's ever working too hard. And he's got these explosive moves no matter what, and he runs them down. So much fun to watch.
Yeah, it's almost like how John surfs Margaret River and everyone tried to emulate that. It's almost like how Griffin now surfs Huntington. He's kind of set that level, that bar.
Well, the bar has been set across the field, and we're into finals days. Your final thoughts, Rosie, before we head into a big day tomorrow?
Wow, I don't know. I'm going to have to go lie down after today because it was a big day of action, and we got to get ready for finals day and really got to up the ante.
And from you, Pete?
Well, I mean, considering what we've seen from day 1 of this event, I'm going to talk about the waves. The waves have been here each and every day. It's been basically a mirage. Each and every time we wake up, there's like head-high surf. It's going to be the high tide. You got to deal with those heats. Same thing tomorrow. I think we're going to have the same size surf, and we're going to see the same amazing action.
Well, we can't wait for more of it. Be sure to stay tuned. We're going to check out more highlights from today for the U.S. Open of Surfing Huntington Beach, presented by Shiseido. But a big finals day is on the horizon for tomorrow. We'll be here bright and early to bring it through.
Welcome, surf fans, to the U.S. Open of Surfing Huntington Beach, presented by Shiseido. A high-speed, high-line floating snap for Caroline Marks. A great start. And with priority, Gabriella Bryant is able to hold off Caroline Marks, and she's got a runner to work with here. From the island of Kauai, Gabriella Bryant moving through, probably getting the win of the event. Sawyer Lindblad, and we're seeing the rise of the rookies. Well, judging by the numbers, you would have to say that's an upset. And guess what? The score did drop.
Wow.
A last-second flip. Coco home with a last-second win.
Caitlin Simmer, she feels comfortable here in Huntington, goes in for a really powerful opening turn right up into the lip. Priority with Betty Lou. All right, Courtney's answering back. She's looking for her third win here at the U.S. Open of Surfing. She's into the semifinals.
And now we flip it. Round of 16, Heat 1 for the men in the lineup.
As we see blue up and riding.
Jake Marshall. Better on the finish. Jake Marshall's on the board. Mihimana Bray in the lead now, but Callum Robson answers back with an air of his own. Free falling from the sky, landing tail first.
Kolohe Andino flaring out the fins. Nice air reverse.
Seek behind him.
Looking for a ramp, launches, gets the air, and rides it, scraping the fins on the sand, Ezekiel Lau. And it's going to be Kolohe Andino on to the quarterfinals. Building up some speed on the inside, hucks the fins, spins around, a nice finish. Doing the LBC proud, Nolan Raposa's in the quarterfinals.
Is he going to be able to pull off a strong finish?
Yes, he can.
That was unbelievable.
They're tied. The tied situation leads to the single highest wave score. That was Lucas Silveira. Earns his way into the quarterfinals.
This copyrighted event broadcast is produced by the World Surf League for broadcast around the world and may not be retransmitted, reproduced, rebroadcast, or otherwise distributed or used in any form without the written consent of the World Surf League.